Hi, thank you. Very good evening to everyone, Facebook audience as well, this live one. So it's kind of good thing now. I think things are opening up. Get to speak live, instead of I know some of you guys are on video, but it's good to actually be live to everyone here. So the topic I'm going to talk about is actually a bit of more of millennial market. I'll get through it to tell you what are millennials. So before I start, this is me, in a car. I like cars actually. As Shireen has mentioned, I'm a business professional, practitioner in Asia Pacific region for over 20 years. I'm experienced been attached to MNCs like the Japanese, the French, the British, American, and also trans-Tasman countries like Australia and New Zealand. My core things is in the strategic management, strategic marketing, change management, digital marketing, and international business. I'm a certified trainer. I'm also involved in the HRDF. I'm also a research contributor to the automotive Asian industry. Some of my hobbies, just to break a bit of ice, I like coffee. Right? I have a lot of coffee machines at home. I like espressos, I run a lot to keep myself healthy, especially at this point of time where COVID is still around. I think you guys should continue to exercise, be healthy. I like PlayStation. I'm a gamer. Books, of course, I read a lot of books. Occasionally, I like to cook as well on the weekends for my family. Travel. Who doesn't like travel? Right? I like to see the world. A lot of countries that I haven't gone to, I'd like to do it soon when the whole world is open. And I listen to a lot of music. I'm a bit of an audiophile guy. I'm analog, so I collect vinyl records. So getting onto it, I think if you look at where we are before the pandemic, things was good. Look at KL City or the global cities. People are walking around, without mask. Things are normal. Look at the streets are bustling. So I'm sure we had the experience, but of course things have changed when COVID-19 hits the world. So back in 2020, I think early of the year, where we knew that COVID is coming, but we didn't know how big was the impact. But after a few months, when it hits, the whole world was in a very disaster. People just scramble to do what we're going to do now. Business are struggling. People are also struggling. So this is the normal scene. What happened? And we went into a lockdown. Streets are empty. There's no cars. We were stuck at home. Many businesses cannot even sell anything. Especially those people in our retail, they can't sell to anyone else. They have no means how to communicate with customers as well. So, but of course, if your business, if you're already focused in your business and you have set up e-commerce platform and your business is already online and you have means of communicating with your business, you are probably 50% shielded from the whole pandemic. There are a lot of many businesses have closed during the first lockdown. Even though if they haven't closed, the second lockdown actually tore their resources off. They have actually literally ran out of resources, money. Like I was sharing with a friend that I had a friend which is runs an event management company. You had to let go like 70, 80 people. It's just after one lockdown, no other means of revenue coming in, and you have to let go. And I'm sure this is it's not only him alone. Many other businesses people lost their job as well. But the thing is, if you have already established yourself, being transformed a little bit into the technology, I think you probably survive. I will talk more about that later. So when I mentioned about if your business is already in the e-commerce platform, like you're having an online store and you have a digital payment gateway, where people can shop and go into a website to buy something, and your means of getting money from your customers, or your whatever clients, you're safe, compared to those that relies on retail, relies on people walking into your shop and pay you. It's bad because due to the lockdown, even after the lockdown, you don't see many people coming out. So this is something that many businesses probably, oh, luckily I already set up everything, But a lot of things after the first pandemic, a lot of people learned their lesson. Right? So when you have the second wave of lockdown, a lot of people are much more prepared. So this is just a little bit of intro what has happened in the landscape. But having said that, let's talk about our customers, especially when we talk about millennials. How many people who understand what the term millennial is? Anyone from the floor? Who are millennials? Yeah. Okay, basically, millennials are actually the first batch of people who are born in the internet age. Of course, there are many people say that millennials are Generation Y, they are a pampered generation and things. True, in some way, because millennials are actually generation, basically baby boomers are Generation X, their parents, some of them they're pampered. I like to pamper my kids as well. My wife pamper the kids. So millennials are actually very complex people. Why did I say that they are complex people? It's because of the exposure that they get these days. Compared to my time, I'm actually a Generation X. My time is basically newspaper, encyclopedia, Britannica. Whatever Britannica writes, we think that is, and whatever is on the TV, oh, this is the information. You have no other means of validating whatever the TV says or the Britannica says. I'm sure today, if you open up a Britannica and you check through the internet, I'm very sure that you will find that there are a lot of, it doesn't seem that way. Because nowadays information is so much, so much of people talking about this and that. So the same thing goes with millennials. When we talk about millennials, you can see that they are, hip, happy type of people. They're very different than the time of my age. And that is why they are so complex. And in today's business, when you market to a millennial, it's very difficult to find the right code or the right recipe, to crack them. Because they are so complex that they make decisions very differently and their thoughts are so different. That's why a lot of business and marketers are challenged to market to millennials. That's why it's very complex, cracking the code. So why millennials? Why we place so much emphasis on millennials? In fact, a lot of companies and brands, they target this group of people a lot instead of other generations. If you look at Goldman Sachs, great investment company, mentioned that they are one of the largest generations in history and is about to move into a prime spending years. Their unique experience will change the ways that we buy and sell, forcing companies to examine how they do business for decades to come. And this is a true thing. When I say prime spending years, if you look at millennials, they're born in 1981 onwards. The oldest millennial now is 42. If we talk about the year 2022, right? The youngest being 26. Right? So most of the people who are actually working and at their prime, and some of these people are already at their mid-30s, they are already climbed the ladder, some of them they are senior managers, general managers and stuff, and they have a lot of money now. And they are moving to buy houses. If you look at properties now, who is buying properties? It's millennials, this age group. But having said that, look at Generation Z, 1997 to 2012. Right? This generation is also upcoming. I will explain a little bit more why we also should focus on Generation Z as well, besides millennials. Bit of statistics, we look at percentage of population in Malaysia. And again, why I say that millennials is the biggest target that any marketers or business should look into. You look at the blue highlights 35 to 44, you know, millennial is the oldest is 42. They land in this category. 15.6% of population of Malaysia. It's there. 25 to 34, 25 and 24, 17.6. They already taken up 40%, 31%, 40%, right? Okay, if you look at just now when I mentioned about Generation Z, why businesses also should target to them, because they take up another 20% of the population of Malaysia. Huge market. Right? When we talk about business, we always look at market potential, and people are market potential. Just look at why the West is so interested in Asia, because of our human population. Just look at China alone. Just look at Thailand and Indonesia. They have 40, 50, 60 million people. Those are market potential. If you can sell one shirt to one person, you already make your money. That's why we look at statistics is also important for us to make business decisions. So millennials, as mentioned, they made up of 30% of Malaysian population, and 23% in the world is millennials. Their buying power is over $1 trillion. Imagine that. Not me, not my parents, certainly not my grandparents, but millennials, they are spenders. But they are brand switchers as well. Why they are brand switchers? Because information, they're exposed to a lot of things. They know what is upcoming brand. They want to jump into the gun of what upcoming brand. They work hard, play hard, and spend hard. This is a true thing. You see millennials buying, if you are a fan of sports shoes, you look at JD Sports. I'm sure some of you have heard before JD Sports and stuff. Millennials are going there to buy shoes. Those days, my time, when you have one Nike or Reebok shoe, you're like, wow. But these days, millennials have 5, 6, 7. I used to have one staff, a young staff, who has 80 shoes. A guy, 80 shoes, from Adidas to Nike to, everything. 80 shoes. And you thought that women like shoes, guys like shoes. They're tech savvy, no doubt, because they're born in the internet age. They're exposed to electronic gadgets and tech stuff. And 9 out of 10 millennials have smartphone. Probably 10 out of 10 now. Yeah. So if you look at millennials in the world, just to share a little bit of statistics, the largest population is in Asia. Right? If you are doing business, international business, do not look overseas, do not look to Europe, just look to Asia. That's your market potential. You don't have to go so far. Look at your neighbors. Look at Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. Those are already your market potentials. You don't have to look to going to Australia or looking into going to Europe. Just around your neighbors in Asia, your market potentials are already there. Some thoughts about millennials. A strong brand doesn't guarantee a lock-in sale to millennials. Now, why? Because millennials think very differently, as mentioned. That's why branded stuff, they're trying very hard to get to millennials, to be loyal to them. But even though you're a strong brand now, example, if you are strong for Nike, they might not like it. You might want to go to Adidas, example. But I try not to use brands as references. There's a growing online networks and social media that determines their purchasing decision. When brands are shrinking in importance, who does not go into social media to look for product reviews? Any of y'all? I'm sure y'all go into social media to ask your friends and things. So you guys are also thinking like millennials. And millennials have this bunch of friends. If you look at their groups, they have connections like thousands. So sometimes they want to buy something, they post on Facebook. Shall I buy this, and that? Then you start people talk about comments. You should buy it. No, you should buy the other one because they are like that. So you look at the vast information they are getting. It makes you have a lot of conflicting ideas whether you're doing the right thing or not. So this is why social media is important, which I'm going to highlight later. The generation that lives online, buys online, you believe that they do. They live online, and they buy online. A lot of millennials now, they don't really go to store. right? They spend their time on their computer, on their smartphone, scrolling and looking for stuff and looking at reviews, and they buy it online. So texting takes up 33% of millennials' mobile usage, 72 messages average in a day. Right? If you guys have children, just observe them. How many times do they text a day? During makan time, they text, right? Maybe during their shower time also they text, right? My kids do it. Sometimes I just have to close one eye, but that is how they live with it. 80% of millennials sleep with their phones next to their bed. Anyone observe their kids? Right. Just go tonight before they sleep, just look at their bedside. Even adults. Okay, myself also, I sleep next to the phone. Just put it there. Yeah. So how do we market to millennials? Since they are such a complex people. If you look at traditional marketing, from my time, my grandparents' time, it's very straightforward. It's just one way. You do up an advertisement. An advertisement is your communication of information to your customer. You start with a picture like, okay, you drink this or buy this, this is what you get, blah, blah, blah. And you try to hope that it closes a sale. That is the traditional way of marketing, one-way street. But for modern marketing now, it's very different. Why? Modern marketing, it's about actually getting your audience to spend more time with your brand and to develop a relationship. And this is what millennials and the generation after millennials is looking for, a relationship. It's not like you buy, that's it. But they want differently. They want to interact with the brand. They want to feel like the brand. They want to know what others are thinking when they use this brand or a product or a service. When I say relationship, it's no longer a one-way thing. It's always in a loop, right? So basically, same thing. When you do an advertisement about your product or your brand or your service, you communicate out, the information. When you make a sale, right, it doesn't end there, right? You get feedback. You need feedback from them. A lot of brands are looking for feedbacks, whether are you happy with my brand, are you happy with my product or service, and then there's where interactions. The more interactions that they have on their site or their web page or something, the more successful the brand is. And of course, social. The more people talk about it, the better it is. That's why we call viral this, viral that. It's all about relationship. The moment when you lose a relationship with your customers, that's it. People forget about it. So this is something why brands, a lot of multinational brands are spending so much money to make sure that people keep talking about it, having a relationship about it, not forgetting about it. The moment you forget, it's bad. So if you are into your own business and into your own brand, the keyword is developing relationship. How well you do it on social media. Marketing evolution. What makes this relationship thing such an important thing? A bit of history and how marketing has evolved. Right. We are in marketing 3.0 now. The first generation marketing 1.0, which mentioned just now, is one-way street. Is because of normal, how I grew up is radio, television, print, direct mail, phones, and of course events where you have demonstration. I remember those days when I was growing up, I used to attend this Tupperware demonstration. People go to the house and they demonstrate how the Tupperware is. And those are the events. Those are one way, and that 30 minutes only, make sure that you ask all the questions, you see to believe. After that, they try to, you sell something, you buy something, that's it. Then they move on to other houses or other states to go and do the thing. But then with technology, came marketing 2.0, where we have websites now. You can, in your house, you can actually go to the website to look at it. You can email them, they respond, they display, then you can search within their website. It's much more interactive. They start to develop this type of thing that they want you to visit. That's why those days, early internet, where they have visit counters or something like that, you see numbers there, how many times page visited or something like that. So these are things that they want to know. Yeah. Then now came marketing 3.0. We are at the era now of marketing 3.0 where there's integrated marketing online and offline as well, where sometimes the brands will send you messages, sometimes you see like WhatsApp or something that they try to send you or something. And then there's also personalized messaging and content, because now they are profiling you. They want to know, they know your age, what you do, and what's your preference. Now they start to profile you. So they know exactly how to personalize the message, what you want. Predictive marketing is another one, which is people are using AI now. Artificial intelligence to predict where you are. That's why sometimes when we surf the net now, we have all these cookies in the Web Explorer. Those are the things that actually tracks you, where you are. And a lot of data now, apps that we use now, is feeding data to all these brands. What we do, what we search for, all these type of things. And it's also voice enabled now, so high tech. You can actually use voice, to search in the website. So what makes all this possible? Right? Because of technology, we used to walk from marketing 1.0 to 2.0, but 2.0 actually ran to 3.0 very quickly because of technology. So I can see things are changing so fast. If you look at evolution of marketing, as I mentioned, technology is the catalyst that changes the way how we obtain information. The more things that we see now, it changes our consumer behavior. Like I mentioned, nowadays when you buy something, you want to seek validation and seek opinions from your friends and families by posting, by texting also as well. You go to WhatsApp group, your friends, I saw this thing, shall I buy, or something like that. Technology is actually changing the way we make decisions, purchasing decisions. And this is why millennials are so complex, and the generation after millennials, it's more complex. We have to understand the web also. If you look at the web 1.0, 1.2, 3, and 4, right? You look at the web, internet, the first generation of internet is very static. It's just text to me. Then came 2.0, which is a bit more dynamic, some animation on the internet. And then 3.0, which is, they call it the semantic web, or the web learning, where the web is actually learning you. As I mentioned just now, they're tracking you. They know what you do, so marketers can actually do personalization. And millennials like this, they like to be, I won't say they like to be tracked, but they'd like to feel that, oh, actually I'm interested in fine dining. So they send me all this fine dining thing. Wow, they know about me. Some of these millennials, they like it. Now, 4.0, they call it the symbiotic web. We are not really there yet, but it depends on the technology again. So I'm just telling you a bit of a future, what will happen in Web 4.0. Because it really depends. Now the government is talking about 5G, and the faster the data transmit, and then more technology, more powerful, we will get the Web 4.0 probably in the next few years. If you really want to know how does Web 4.0 looks like, anyone seen this show before? Ready Player One? No? If you haven't seen this show before, go watch it. I think either Netflix or something, they have it. Basically, this show is by Steven Spielberg, the one who directed E.T., and things. It's basically based on a real person, okay? But the world has changed. They spend most of their time online in a virtual world through VR, virtual reality goggles. Right? So basically everything is now Facebook is working on it, like Meta, I think we are getting there, where people just log in and go deep into a virtual world. They're creating another world. We have seen many movies and many cartoons now based on virtual world and things. So go and catch this show, and then you see what am I talking about Web 4.0, because people need to escape into a different reality, where you can do your shopping, actually walk in a virtual shopping mall next time at your own place, at your own home, where you put on the VR goggles. So this is probably going to be the future of the web. So information, again, I stress a lot of things on information. Information actually determines on us making decisions. So where do millennials gather them? Let's look at this girl here, with the dog, mobile phones and things. Obviously, these are the characteristics of a millennial. working from home or working anywhere mobile. Millennials like to work anywhere. How do we sell to them? How do we sell things to them? Do we call them on the phone? Most likely they will have those true caller ID, or something. Oh, no one answer. You get that? I have all these spam blockers and things also as well, right? So, or do you send a salesman to talk to her? How do you buy? How do you talk to a millennial? Most likely they won't want to see you. And who uses salesman these days already, right? Before going into how we sell to them, let's look at some Malaysian digital statistics just to share, for business making decision. If you look at, we have 32.98 million. Mobile phone usage, 42.11 million. That's over 127%. Most of the people now have 2 mobile phones, 3 mobile phones. Yeah, that's where the coverage is. You look at daily time spent on media. This is quite interesting for those who are looking at a different perspective to getting knowledge. Look at time spent on the internet on average a day, 9 hours. These are where the children and the millennials are spending their time, 9 hours a day. So what do? First one, looking for information. Right. From looking for information, then they have to a bit of gaming, online buying, managing finance, So these are actual statistics. You can find it in the Malaysian statistics. They are published actually. So why do we always look at statistics? Because it is important for us. If you are a business owner, it's good to update yourself with all these statistics because these are all published. Then you can make decisions. You can actually guide your team or whoever. If you are working for people, this is where you gather your information and propose to your company. So as I mentioned, where do millennials get the information just now? If you want to sell to them, firstly to understand them, where do they get all the information? Where do they learn things from? How do they see whether it's a new product? If you have a product and service, look at forums. Anyone in any forums? Millennials are always in forums. Children are always in forums. In some form of forum, they call it Discord or something, where they have their own world. They talk about a whole lot of things. Social media, of course, Facebook, they are on there. Blogs, some of them they vlogs and blogs as well. YouTube, of course, YouTube. If you look at product reviews, then they have a lot of comments. I read them too sometimes. I read what's good and bad about the product. Instant messaging. And of course, the internet. You go to the internet and search. So when we talk about modern marketing, analytics is very important. A lot of business owners, they do have a lot of data sometimes because these days, a lot of companies, when you buy and sell, there are a lot of data, like people fill up what's their age group and things. Analytics is very important. If you want to know more about where are your consumers, where are your customers, usage of analytics is very important. From there, you can actually look at customer orientation, customer insights, and then predictive. A lot of marketing companies are using predictive artificial intelligence, where they predict what you're going to buy next, what you're going to do next, where will you hang out the next, or what you want to eat after on the weekends or weekdays. There's so much of information now that everyone is being profiled. An example, if you use the app Grab, something like that, you buy food, if you keep on buying a lot of Western food, they know that you are a person who likes Western food. Even if you take taxi as well, if you always go to that place, they already profile you. Don't say we are being tracked, but they know what we do and what is next. They can actually predict what will be your next preference. So your strategy, platforms and technology, where you want to go into, whether you want to go into advertising in TikTok or Instagram, your execution, how you execute through communications, customer experience or distribution in the market, your planning, segmenting your brand value. So all this, it's actually a blueprint of creating a relationship with your customers. If you're planning to market to millennials, you must have all this. It's a bit theoretical, I know, but for business owners, it's good to look at it from a different perspective. So what are key pointers to modern marketing? Persona. A lot of companies, digital advertising companies are using persona. They wear the hat of your customer. Example, if you want to sell something to a young kid or young teenager, they put on their hat. They try to think, what does the teenager wants? What makes them happy? That's why they call it creating a persona. You've heard of the word called Instagrammable? Anyone? When you, let's say example, you go to a new ice cream place, wow, this ice cream is very fancy. You take a picture, like I always tell my kids, me, my wife, let the phone eat first. When they mention about the phone eat first is you take, when the food is served, you take the phone and you actually feed the phone first through taking picture. I think everyone do it. I'm not shy about it. I do it sometimes, So, but millennials, they take things that is nice, they want to be the first. They want to post it in their Instagram. That's why it's called Instagrammable. So if your business, let's say if you open a restaurant, if you see a lot of young teenagers and millennials coming and keep taking picture of the things, that means you have done a very good job. It means your food is nice in some way, presentable, that makes them want to post. If it comes like, not nicely decorated, they will tell you they don't want to take photo. That means the phone don't eat first, they eat first, right? So look at how your customers react if you, let's say, if you run a business of F&B or something. So as a business owner, if you're planning to market to millennials, always good to update yourself in trends in TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook or Twitter. Look at the trends. Twitter, there's a lot of trending, what they're talking about. We have to get into their ball game. Experience is a new brand, no brand experience. Connect with your customers. This is very, very important. Create a community. When you start to sell something, make sure you create a blog or website where people can come in and then you can talk to them. Have a chat room or something like that. Get feedbacks from them. They are the best ones to tell you whether your product is good, not good, and what you should improve on. Again, usage of analytics, like I mentioned. Look at what are your age group of your customers? How much do they spend? All these are analytics that is actually very helpful to your business. Platforms to target. So again, this is some statistics I want to share. If you look at Facebook, there are 21.7 million users in Malaysia. That's where your market is. Google advertising, YouTube had 23.6 million users in Malaysia. Right? That's equivalent to 71.6% on YouTube already. So these are your platforms that you want to get into when you do marketing or you want to sell something online or something. Instagram, 15.55 million users, Malaysia. Look at TikTok. Anyone in TikTok? I'm not in TikTok. Look at the 14.59 million, 14.56 million actually. This is where your people are there, your market potentials are there. Look no further, all these are statistics. Right? Twitter, well, 4 million, but it's worthwhile go inside and advertise your product. And social media, this is also very interesting because a lot of people, when they create a content online, it really lasts very, very short. When I say short, means example, if you post a Twitter post, it only lasts 15 minutes before your post is gone, replaced by other people, replaced by other things as well. Facebook, only 6 hours. If you post something on Facebook, 6 hours, 7 hours, it's gone. Instagram, 21 hours. LinkedIn, 24. YouTube might last longer depending on how much people are looking at it. So be careful of which platform you go into and be mindful of your content. Don't think that, oh, I created the content, I post something, let it be for 1 week. You're wasting your time actually. It's only effective in the first 6 hours if it's on Facebook. So that's why you can see big brands, they keep on posting it every day, every time of the day, so to continuously update because they want people to keep seeing the brand. So influencer marketing, why I bring up influencer marketing is a big thing also as well. It's really a big thing that's happening in the last couple of years. they're different than celebrities. Right? Influencer marketing is different than celebrities. Celebrities are basically, they don't interact with their fans so much, you know. Example, when they have a page on YouTube, you ask them something, you most likely won't get a reply from them. But influencer marketing is the new thing. You know, when they post something, when they use something, you know, or when they do something, when they have the fans writing to them on the comments page, they will reply to you. Right. So influencer marketing is actually very important. It's actually very important tool now for any business to use. Right. So it depends on what sort of products or services that you're selling. Choose the right influencer and your brand will really kick off. Your product will also really kick off. So example here, we talk about Malaysia. Since we're in Malaysia now, you look at the influencers, look at the number of followers. Example, Muhammad Noor, 8 million followers. Siti Nurhaliza, 7.9 million users. Of course, these are celebrities. But if you go into this page here, there's like about 200 influencers, the top 200. Some are 500,000 followers, 300,000 followers. Right? If you want to start something small with these people, you can actually contact them. You know, get them to, example, you know, make a deal with them. You know, can you wear my brand shirt, you know, during your videos, or you know, use my pen or pencil during your videos, your vlog videos in YouTube. When people see, people will ask about it. Right? These are some of the strategies that you can get to millennials. You know? So it's not that hard to crack the code to how you want to market to millennials. Look at influencers. Now, on influencers, same thing. Look at children influencers now. These are also the next big thing of children influencers. Why I say that? You look at this girl from Philippines, Diana Guerrero. You look at how many followers she has. 13.5 million followers. She's just, I think, an 11 or 10-year-old kid. If you go to her video, her YouTube page, she has about 40 over million views in most of her videos. She does things like sometimes she eat hot spicy noodles, you know, she plays with toys, and then the views are crazy, 20, 30 million views. These are actually your influencers. So if you are into children apparels, you know, children fashion, look for these people. Right? They already have the viewership, they already have the followers. You know, you don't need to advertise, you just make a deal with them, you know, and look at the second one, Everlay Rose Salters, 5 million followers, not as much as the first one, you know, but just an example to show you these are some of the children followers that you can actually, you know, market your products to. If you're into baby products or something like that, you know, get them to do it for you. So what are the trends in 2022 for modern marketing? Right? Video marketing. I'm sure many of us also during the pandemic, we have watched video marketing, live streaming. I think like one of my auntie buys a lot of fish and prawns during the live session, you know. I'm sure many of us do. So that's one example, video marketing. A viral is something like you do short video clips, you know, 30 seconds, 20 seconds starting, you know, and you post it online. Chatbots, you know, if your business spend a bit of money, you know, get a IT guy to do some chatbots where people can interact now. Banks are using it, you know, on the website. Augmented reality, virtual reality is also the next thing. People are trying to incorporate more. Like car makers are very, very good in using virtual reality, augmented reality now. They want to, you can't come to my showroom, but you can actually go to the internet and you see the actual thing, your car. Influence marketing, that's what I mentioned. You know, all these are your strategies to go into advertising the millennials. So coming back to a bit of pandemic, quite interesting. People want to know what is something that I can do in a post-pandemic. We are going to endemic soon. So greater investment and prioritization of technology. This is something that it's future-proofing your company. If you have a bit of money, spend a little bit more on technology. And also attention to your employees and your customer experience on technology. If they're on the mobile phones, make sure your employees are also on mobile phones that you can communicate with your customers. Right? Spring cleaning of technology to streamline investments and keeping up to date. If you're having a old Windows and things, PC that is using monitor screen, throw it away. It doesn't do good into your business, Invest in a better technology. Increase the use of automation. Now this is very important because if there's another pandemic comes or new strain comes, right? If you still rely on people to do your things and not automation, you might have an issue, right? You must also view technology as a means to innovate and thrive, Cybersecurity, don't forget about cybersecurity. The more you're on the internet and e-commerce, there are many hackers out there. Agile organization, meaning flexible. Your people can do this and that, not only silo. That means without this department, your company cannot run. Review dependency, the last one. Make sure your suppliers also as agile as you are. If your suppliers are not technology savvy, imagine your business depends on the supplier, and if the supplier tells you, "Oh, sorry, I have to close down," or because I don't have the means to service my customer, you are also in trouble. That's why we review dependency. So these are some of the things during the post-pandemic, what we can do to future-proof. We must always plan ahead. So I want to leave you with the last quote. It's not really the strongest of species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the most responsive to change. And this is what Charles Darwin said, and this is quite true. I've worked so long in my life, I've seen big companies, although they are very big, but if you don't change, you just disappear. I'm sure in your experience, you have known a couple of companies that just disappear. But companies who are always evolving and changing, they tend to be here a long, long time. Just like we are. Okay, so this ends my talk about modern marketing to millennial. So I hope you guys have gotten something, to take home, and appreciate any Q&A after this.